Okay, how's it going, everybody? So, we're going to read some Lenin. This is a sketch of a provisional revolutionary government written in July 1905. Let's go ahead and get into this. A sketch of a provisional revolutionary government. So, some of these words are like drawn out, and sometimes I've said words wrong just because they have like weird spaces in the middle of them. So, I might accidentally do that. But let's get into it. So the Zetting, Tsarism in St. Petersburg struck down. The autocratic government overthrown, struck down but not utterly destroyed, not killed, not annihilated, not extirpated. The provisional revolutionary government appeals to the people. Workers and peasants take the initiative. Complete freedom. The people organize their own lives. The government program equals full Republican liberties. Peasant committees for the complete reform of agrarian relations. The program of the Social Democratic Party is a thing standing by itself. Social Democrats and the provisional government equals people delegated, commissioned by Social Democratic Party. Next, the Constituent Assembly, if the people have risen, they may, even though not immediately, find themselves in the majority, peasants and workers, ergo the revolutionary dictatorship of the proletariat and peasantry. Frantic resistance of evil forces, civil war in full sweep, annihilation of Tsarism. Organization of the proletariat grows, propaganda and agitation of the Social Democrats increases 10,000-fold. All the government printing presses, etc. Mit der Gründlichkeit der geschichtlichen Aktion wird auch der Umfang der Masse zunehmend deren Aktion sie ist. Okay, so that was some German, horribly spoken Creole. I'm not sure what exactly he says there. Let me see what he says. As the thoroughness of the historic action increases, the magnitude of the mass whose cause it represents will also increase. Okay, so I'll do that next time instead of trying to read all that in German. Lenin sometimes will just break out in German for some reason. You're like, oh, okay. Let me get back into this. The peasantry takes all agrarian relations, all the land, into its own hands. Then nationalization becomes a fact. Tremendous growth of productive forces, the entire rural intelligentsia, all technical knowledge is brought into action to increase agricultural production, to get rid of fettering influences, uplifters, narodniks, etc., etc. Gigantic development of capitalist progress. War. The fort keeps changing hands. Either the bourgeoisie overthrows the revolutionary dictatorship of the proletariat and the peasantry, or this dictatorship sets Europe aflame. And then, if we are to consider the question of revolutionary dictatorship from the standpoint of Marxism, we shall have to reduce it to an analysis of the struggle of the classes. Ergo, what major social forces should be taken into account? Ordre de bataille. A. The bureaucratic military and court elements stand for absolutism, plus the unenlightened elements among the people, a rapidly disintegrating conglomerate yesterday, all-powerful tomorrow, powerless. Dynastic and other conflicts within inevitable. Degree of organization very high, maximum. So that's the first force, is the bourgeois, the bureaucratic military and court elements for absolutism. Let's go back to, let's see. Next is the more or less big, moderately liberal bourgeoisie. Here I include the liberal landlords and the top financiers, the merchants, manufacturers, etc., etc. This, O lords and masters of a bourgeois country, can do anything, end quote. Degree of organization very slight. Conflicts between the groupings inevitable, but all stand for a constitution even now, and still more so tomorrow. Ideological leaders in abundance from among the officials, landlords, and journalists. See why the petty bourgeois and peasant section, tens of millions. The people, par excellence. Degree of organization, minimum. Greatest state of benightedness and disorganization. Their plight most desperate. They have most to gain directly from the revolution. The greatest instability. Today for the revolution, tomorrow for law and order. After slight improvements. Democracy, ideological leaders, a great number of democratic intellectuals. The socialist revolutionary type. So this is the next one. Democracy, ideological leaders, a great number of democratic intellectuals, the socialist revolutionary, quote, type. And then the next one is the proletariat. Very high level of organization and discipline. Revolutionary-minded, critical attitude towards the petty bourgeois. Has fewer ideological leaders than all the others. Only the social democratic intelligentsia and the educated social democratic workers. Compared with the preceding groups numerically, very much weaker, but Kampfheiligkeit, very much stronger. Okay, object of the struggle. See what this is. Fighting capacity, very much stronger. So so that was all the different groups of people. And discipline. Okay, so object of the struggle is the Republic, including all democratic liberties, the minimum program, and far-reaching social reforms. So, okay, so he has these like codes here. He says that, let's see, in a revolutionary moment is the petty bourgeois and the peasant section were in a revolutionary moment at this time. Okay, yeah. So, like, absolutely against was the bureaucratic military. The bourgeois was for a constitution against the republic, half and half bargaining, And then wholly and entirely for the republic was the proletariat. And yeah, the revolutionary minded, that was the proletariat. Okay. Interesting. So yeah. That might have got maybe a little confusing as I was reading it, but I thought it was definitely worth the read. It was a sketch of a provisional revolutionary government. So thank y'all for tuning in. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, and Medium. All of these are Marxist. So y'all can hit me up there. Y'all have a great day. Dodada Goi.